Welcome, welcome. Welcome to lesson 2. Today we are talking about monarch butterflies. Monarch butterflies. And wow, they are just such a beautiful animal. Here they're beautiful insects. Here's a picture too of a monarch butterfly. Wow, just beautiful designs. You could see how gorgeous. I learned that these are called they're veins. So that's very interesting. I'm wondering if they're real veins or if they're just called the veins, the awesome design that you see on the wingspan. So here's pictures of monarch butterflies. And I thought it was really cool because people think they don't know that some people don't realize that they're insects. And how do you know that they're insects? Well, they have 6 legs. So most insects have 6 legs, and there's 3 parts of a body. Do you like my drawing? Wherever you are, nod your head, say yes, because I know I'm quite the artist. They have the head. That's a joke, by the way. The head, a thorax, and an abdomen. So that's really cool to see how they're made here. So these are monarch butterflies. We're not going to be reading this book because you guys are a bit advanced for this book, but we are going to be making a graphic organizer just like we did for the bears lesson, okay? And remember, everything you need, you could find out a lot of information from a graphic organizer. You don't always need to just read a book. You read a graphic organizer, just like you could read a map, just like you could read a graph, a chart, and they often give us very, very valuable information. Oh, and let me also have this pen here. Every time I put this pen down, please go ahead and pause, and you could take as much time as you need to write or draw or think or speak or whatever it is we're doing. Smack in the middle of this graphic organizer should be a rectangle, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to put 4 more rectangles. I'm going to make them a little longer and skinnier so I have some room. Um, don't worry about making it beautiful. Don't worry if it doesn't come out right. I strongly advise you to use pencil. I'm using, oh, this camera is not loving me today. That's okay. You all love me. So if the camera doesn't love me, that is okay. Let me give it oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, it looks like a face, doesn't it? Um, I highly also advise you to use pencil. I'm using a Sharpie just because I want to make sure you guys can see, but I would advise you to use a pencil so you can erase if necessary, because most of you will be uploading this onto Google Classroom or some other way. Please remember to press hard on that pencil because we need to see what you've done. And sometimes kids can write very lightly. So we want to make sure that we could see what you write. Okay. All right, so we have the 5 rectangles, okay? And under each rectangle, I'm gonna draw a few lines. I'm gonna draw 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. And as I'm doing this, I'm gonna remind you that this is not a beauty contest for who has the nicest graph. If yours is not pretty, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you can read it, that you can understand it, and that it helps you. So 3 lines under each rectangle. Excellent, excellent. So as you know, we're going to always start with the animal or whatever we're focusing on. Remember, this is also going to be our topic sentence when we write our essay tomorrow, okay? Or during whenever the next session is. So here in the middle, I want you to write monarch butterfly. FLY, monarch butterfly, and it's classified as an insect. The body does have 3 parts and there's 6 legs. Okay, excellent, perfect. And you could see sometimes that CH usually makes the ch sound, but here it makes the sound. So that happens sometimes. So we have a monarch butterfly, and we're going to go ahead and write our subcategories where we're going to write down our information. So here I'm going to write predators. So yes, last time when we studied about bears, the word was prey. The word was prey because because bears really don't have predators. Predators are what eats the monarch butterfly. So predators. Here we have appearance. Appearance, appearance. Here we have diet. Diet. I'm not going to pause there because that's a short word, D-I-E-T. And here we have habitat. Okay. I'll put that there in case you need it. All right. All right. So we know that monarch butterflies are insects and they're just so beautiful. They don't look like other ugly insects like fleas, right? They're just gorgeous. So let's start with habitat because this, for monarch butterflies, this is a little bit different because unlike bears, which tend to maybe a bear might roam around the same forest all of its life, or if it's on some type of any type of woodland, it might stay in the same area. Monarch butterflies, though, are quite amazing because they don't stay in the same area. They're very, very famous for their migration. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write the word migration here. They're very famous for their migration. Migration, maybe you've heard the word like immigration or immigrant. You see a little similar sound in the middle. Migration means to move from one place to the other. Maybe you've moved from one city to another city, or one state to another state, or one country to another country. So migration is movements and it's movement. And monarch butterflies, they move 3,000 miles every year and they go through multiple generations. So the same monarch butterfly that starts on the 3,000-mile journey doesn't make it to the end. They usually only live 2 to 6 weeks, but it's the third or fourth generation that makes it to their destination. So where do they go? I mean, where do they live? So in winter, in the cold months, in winter, I'm going to put a little arrow. They go south, often to Mexico. I'm not going to write often because this is just some notes. Sometimes California, they go to places that are warm. So they'll go to the southern United States and they'll go to, this looks like it says South Mexico. No, I don't mean it to say south. They go south, all the way to Mexico. They don't go further than Mexico. So usually they just go up to Mexico. So in the winter, they go south. Sometimes they don't go all the way to Mexico. They stop in like California and other Arizona, some of the hotter places. Okay, that's what they do in the winter. So in summer, and I will pause after this, in summer, they go north and they can go to the northern United States, to the different states up north, all the way to Canada. They don't all go to Canada. A lot of times they just go to the northern United States, but sometimes they go as far as Canada, just like sometimes they go as south as Mexico. So their habitats, these monarch butterflies, their habitats change depending on the season. And since it is such a long journey, you have to put those I would put migration here because you live while you move, right? So they live in those 3,000 miles that they travel. And they often land in trees and other areas as they're migrating. So I'm going to go ahead and pause right here. And while I pause, I'm going to look for a picture because I think I did see a picture in this book here of the tree. Yes, yes. Okay. Oh no, but this is not while they're migrating. Let me show you a picture here. Here's a picture of a bunch of butterflies. This is actually in Mexico. This is actually in Mexico in the winter in Oyama forests of Mexico. So as they travel, the butterflies rest and they nest and they have new baby butterflies. By the time it's the end of the journey, there'll be 3 or 4 generations that have made that journey, and they're the ones who end up making it to either south or north, depending on their destination. This is also a cool thing too, maybe you'd want to see. So here you see Mexico. Here you see the United States. This is all the United States. And here's Canada. So when it gets to the summer months, they travel north, they travel up, and here you have other groups of butterflies. And then when it gets too cold, they come back down, they come back down, they come back down. So that's really a cool thing. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about predators. What is the enemy of monarch butterflies? What eats monarch butterflies? So I picked a few. I researched it and I picked a few. Birds. Okay. Another one is ants. And you might think, isn't an ant tiny? How can an ant eat a butterfly? Well, maybe you know that butterflies, they start off as eggs, they get a little bigger, they become caterpillars. So an ant is a big enemy to the eggs, to monarch butterfly eggs and to caterpillars. They enjoy eating the little eggs and parts of the little caterpillar. And this is another one, yellow jackets. Now, yellow jackets look a lot like bees, but they're actually wasps. Yellow jackets. Yellow jackets are predators for monarch butterflies. Excellent. So here's a list of some monarch butterflies. All right. Appearance. Well, we all let me go ahead and pause, and you can talk amongst yourselves, or if you're by yourself, you could go ahead and fill this out on your own. Remember, you and I don't need to have the same, we don't have to have the same list of anything. If you want to put different predators, go for it. If you want to put something else for habitat, go for it. You can do that. So here in appearance, I'm going to pause. And why don't you come up with a few things, if you can, all 3, as to how they look or what they have on their bodies. Okay, excellent. All right, so for mine, so yesterday, our last lesson, when we did our essay on bears, we talked about adjectives, words that describe. So of course, we're going to put wings, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. What are some adjectives you could use that describe the wings? Okay, what are some adjectives that describe the wings? Okay. How about beautiful, colorful wings? I used 2 adjectives and I separated them with the comma. You don't only need to have one adjective, you could have more than one. Beautiful, colorful wings. Okay. I also put 6 legs. 6 legs, which helps classify it as an insect. Maybe you put something else. There's so many cool things butterflies have. They have like a straw-like thing coming out of their mouth so that they can eat the nectar. They have all kinds of amazing, they have the 3 parts of the body, the thorax, the abdomen, and the head. There's even the wings and themselves have different parts, which are amazing. And the last thing I put were antenna. And I had to look this up because of the spelling, because it sounds like antenna. Like when I was young, a long time ago, we had antennas on our televisions, but not anymore, right? So, but this is a different spelling, a different type of antenna. So when an animal has, for example, let's say on, let me show you real quick. This would be the antenna, or the antennas, right? The antennas. Okay, perfect. So now let's go ahead and let's do the last one. So here it's the diet. So what do they eat? Oh, you know what? I didn't put an adjective for antenna. Legs, 6 legs. 6 is an adjective because when you use a color or a number, that's an adjective. Antenna. How about long? How about long antennas? How about long antennas? Long antennas. All right. Forgot. Right. So diet. So this is really interesting because monarch butterflies predominantly eat 2 things. But we see 1, 2, 3. We see 3 different lines here. So for one of the lines, we're going to do what adults do a lot. They put these 2 letters. I don't know if you've ever seen these letters before. This means non-applicable. So this does not apply. So we could either go like this, we could cross it out, non-applicable. So for example, if someone asks you, let's say if there's some form and someone says, have you been in the military? And I put no. And then the next question says, how long were you in the military? I would put NA, not applicable, because I was never in the military, so I cannot answer that question. So that's what this means in case you ever see it. So part of the diet, especially when they're caterpillars, is milkweed. So it's a flowering plant, milkweed. And there's all kinds of variations of milkweed all over. And this is what they predominantly eat to grow strong, okay? Remember The Very Hungry Caterpillar, the book by Eric Carle, where the very hungry caterpillar eats like a muffin and a sausage and an apple. Well, that's all a lie. They eat milkweed, okay? And then they have nectar, and because of there's like a straw type antenna looking thing that comes out of their mouths, they're able to just suck the nectar right out of plants. And so nectar is sweet plant juice. Nectar is sweet plant juice. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have you press pause. Very good. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to have you press pause here. So here we find a lot of information about monarch butterflies. We find out about their habitat. In the winter, they go to the south, sometimes as far as Mexico. In the summer, they go to the north, sometimes as far as Canada. And they live for many weeks. They are migrating, so they live over 3,000 miles of land, of air, right? And they often stay in trees. They're predators, birds, ants, and yellow jackets. Their appearance, they have beautiful, colorful wings, 6 legs, long antennas, and the diet of milkweed and nectar, and that's about it. Don't lose this. We're going to need this for part 2, where we're going to write a paragraph about monarch butterflies. See you next time.